We begin with the war in Iran. The clock is ticking, and there is no deal at this hour. President Trump has imposed that 7 p.m. Central Time deadline for the Middle Eastern regime to open the Strait of Hormuz. If not, he says he will drop bombs on power plants and bridges. Today, President Trump escalated his threats, posting on social media, quote, "A whole civilization will die tonight." He added that he doesn't want that to happen, but it probably will. A spokesperson for Iran's government said that the messages are being exchanged between countries, but an agreement cannot be reached with insults.
The United States is a man who recognizes leverage, that if the Iranians want to exact a certain amount of pain, the United States has the ability to exact much, much greater pain.
Vice President J.D. Vance is on a trip to Hungary. Vance said he hopes that Iran makes the right decision and that there will be a lot of negotiation between now and the deadline. Israel says it is already carrying out strikes on Iranian railways and bridges that it says are being used by the Revolutionary Guard. Overnight, the U.S. hit military targets on Karg Island. That's a key location for Iran's oil exports. With 3 hours until that deadline and some unprecedented rhetoric from the president, we wanted to talk to an expert and have them walk us through what is likely to be next in all this. So you see here our political reporter, Chris Ty, with someone who has a wide range of expertise here. Chris.
That's right, Marie. Ian Hurd is here with us here at 4 o'clock. He's a professor of political science and the head of the International Studies program up at Northwestern. Professor, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
Marie just walked through that rhetoric from the president. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. Has a U.S. president ever used words like that?
I think it's really unprecedented, although, of course, the early American presidents did something similar to the Native Americans. But what's so striking about that language is it sounds a lot like how Osama bin Laden justified the 9/11 attacks. Right? This idea that you will kill people in cities because you dislike their government is really a terrorist's logic. It's not a leader's logic.
We heard from the vice president leading up to this segment talking about leverage. Is that what this really is? Is this the president sort of putting all of his chips, worst case scenario, and the art of the deal really at play?
No, I think it's the opposite. I think it's a sign of weakness. I think that he can't figure out how else to maneuver, and his other threats and bluster haven't done the trick for him, so he just keeps trying to escalate. But the trouble is, among other things, nobody's taking him very seriously anymore because he makes so many threats. And it doesn't seem at all realistic that a massive attack on Iran is going to advance American interests at all. It seems very backwards.
So you think he's in a box of sorts, a timetable that he's created, oil prices he can't quite get control of, the Strait of Hormuz he can't quite get opened up, and that's why we're in this situation?
It seems quite clear that the situation for the United States was better before Trump attacked Iran. Right? Oil was flowing through the straits before this started. So things have gotten worse because of Trump's decisions, and now he can't figure out how to get himself out of this trouble. And his thought appears to be to make things worse in the hopes that that will make things better. It doesn't make sense.
Is this a gamble, the biggest of his presidency, would you say?
I wouldn't call it a gamble because it's hard to see how he wins. I think that he's hoping that somebody finds an escape route for him and that his bluster will then look like it worked if somebody backs down.
So opening the Strait of Hormuz, sort of promising de-escalation of nuclear weapons would not be a win?
Well, I think it would be a win for the Americans if you could go back in time a little bit. So the Iranians want to sell oil. They want the straits open. They want sanctions gone. That's the main business that the government is in. That's how they stay in power. So they want things to move. It's the fact that they've been attacked by the Americans and that's damaging their infrastructure that has stopped the oil from flowing. So it looks like there's an easy way here. If Trump stops attacking, they flow the oil again. Both sides are better off.
There's some other flow going on here, and that is defections from the MAGA camp. We've seen a lot of big names. Ron Johnson, the senator from Wisconsin, Tucker Carlson, a lot of folks sort of in the sphere of podcasters sort of defecting from the president, sort of in the last 24 hours, even more acutely in the last 12 since that tweet came out this morning. What does that portend?
I think it shows to me that Trump is not listening to anybody. He makes his own thoughts and decisions, and his own impulses are what govern. He doesn't see himself as the head of a movement or a coalition. He sees himself as an individual. Sometimes that works for the purposes of others. Republicans in Congress ride along sometimes, but as soon as it stops working for the others, they are going to turn on him very fast.
Late today, we heard the Prime Minister of Pakistan saying he'd like a 2-week extension, open the strait, President, put down your guns. The Pope also weighing in on this today. And then we have members of Congress, even from the Illinois delegation, talking about the 25th Amendment, removing the president from office, or impeachment efforts. Is that going to take hold?
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot more talk like that, because it looks to me, as a political scientist, that there's not really a rational strategy behind what the White House is doing with this war. I think it was an impulse, and it got themselves into a bit of trouble, and they can't figure out what to do. So if you have irrationality in your top leaders, it makes it very hard to do anything else, so everyone is going to look for some other solution.
What we also have is less than 3 hours and the expertise of Ian Hurd, professor from Northwestern. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, my pleasure.